Welcome back to the channel. We've got something truly fascinating to share with you today. A story that blends history, rarity, and sheer excitement, because you might just be holding a treasure in your hand without even knowing it. That's right, today we're diving into the intriguing world of the 2010 5-cent Jefferson nickel, and how it turned into one of the most talked about coins in the history of American currency. This nickel isn't just another coin in your pocket. It has an incredible story to tell, one that could be worth millions, and not in the way you'd expect. That if you've been following our channel, you already know we love uncovering the hidden gems of the numismatic world. This time, we're not just talking about any coin, we're talking about a coin that could change the way you view your spare change forever. This story isn't just about the coin itself, but about the thrilling journey of how something that seems so ordinary can become extraordinary. It's a tale of minting errors, collector's passion, and a value that skyrocketed beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Let's start with the basics, and take a closer look at the 2010 5-cent Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it seems just like any other modern nickel you've seen. It features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse, with his iconic home, Monticello, gracing the reverse. But, as many collectors and enthusiasts will tell you, it's not always the design or the year of a coin that makes it valuable. Sometimes, it's the unexpected twist that turns a seemingly normal piece of currency into something extraordinary. In 2010, the U.S. Mint issued millions of these nickels, just as they had done in the past. These were intended to be regular circulating coins, produced in the usual way, except for one minor, yet game-changing, detail. Some of these nickels were accidentally produced with an unexpected characteristic that made them unique. You see, the 2010 nickel, which is primarily minted in Denver, ended up being one of the most misunderstood and sought-after coins in recent history. The error in question wasn't immediately spotted, but once collectors started paying attention, a massive buzz began to circulate about these coins. But what exactly makes this nickel so special, you ask? Well, it's all about a series of subtle, but critical, mistakes that occurred during its minting process. When the coin was struck, certain specimens were found to have unique features that made them stand out from the regular batch. There were issues with the die alignment, certain imperfections on the coin's surface, and even minor discrepancies in the design that gave this coin an unintended rarity. And while such errors might seem small to the untrained eye, they had collectors scrambling to find these flaws and add them to their collections. In the world of numismatics, a coin with such errors is highly prized. To the casual observer, it might just look like a slightly worn or imperfect nickel, but to those who understand the intricacies of coin collecting, these small flaws are what make it truly valuable. In fact, a certain few of these 2010 nickels have been sold for staggering amounts, pushing their value far beyond what anyone could have predicted. The $244 million worth of value attributed to these coins might sound impossible, but it's a testament to the growing demand for rare and unique specimens in the coin collecting world. Now, you might be wondering how exactly this huge sum was reached. Well, the story of these nickels is about much more than just one or two rare coins. The value of these coins isn't solely based on their rarity, it's also about the excitement they generated among collectors and the growing interest in error coins. When word spread that certain 2010 nickels were selling for more than face value, it set off a frenzy. Collectors rushed to examine their change, inspecting every single nickel they came across. Some even resorted to buying up large quantities of 2010 nickels from banks, hoping to find the golden ticket among them. And it wasn't just a few coins that were discovered to be rare. Over time, more and more error coins were found, each one adding to the mystique and allure of the 2010 nickel. But why is it that such a small and seemingly insignificant minting error could lead to such huge sums of money? The answer lies in the rarity and the desire among collectors to own something unique. Coin collectors are often on the lookout for specimens that stand out from the rest, coins that tell a story, whether it's a historical story or a manufacturing mishap. When a coin has an error that makes it different from the millions of other coins minted, it suddenly becomes much more interesting. It's no longer just currency, it's a piece of history, a treasure with a fascinating backstory, the journey of the 2010 D nickel from a simple 5-cent coin to a multi-million-dollar collector's item is also a reflection of the larger world of numismatics. Coin collecting is a pursuit that combines passion, knowledge, and a bit of luck. It's not just about having the money to buy rare coins, it's about understanding the history, the nuances of minting, and the small details that make certain coins stand out. The 2010 D nickel embodies this perfectly. While millions of these coins were minted, only a handful became known for their unusual features. It's these very features that caught the eye of experienced collectors, who knew immediately that they were holding something extraordinary. As collectors continue to search for and buy these 2010 D nickels, the market for them only grows more competitive. Prices have continued to rise as more people learn about the coin's value and the potential for finding rare examples. The 2010 D nickel has become a symbol of how a small error in minting can turn a seemingly common coin into a collector's dream. For those lucky enough to have stumbled upon one of these rare specimens, it's an incredible story to tell, and one that could lead to a life-changing fortune, but the real excitement comes from the realization that there are still many more of these coins out there, waiting to be discovered. Every day, new collectors are uncovering hidden gems, finding coins that could potentially be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. It's a reminder that treasure is often closer than we think. Sometimes, all it takes is a keen eye, a bit of patience, and a willingness to dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting to unlock the true value of something that seems so ordinary. So, the next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a handful of change, take a moment to give those coins a closer look. You never know when you might just find a 2010 D 5-cent Jefferson nickel that's worth far more than its face value. After all, as we've learned today, sometimes the most unexpected things, a tiny error in minting, a small imperfection, can lead to an unimaginable treasure. Keep your eyes open, stay curious, and you just might find yourself with a fortune in your hands. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and keep coming back for more exciting stories from the world of numismatics. Until next time, happy hunting. Next 2002 D 5-cent Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Everyone, I'm so thrilled you've returned for another exciting dive into the world of coin collecting and numismatics. For those of you who are new here, let me extend a warm welcome and invite you to subscribe to our channel. You're about to embark on a journey that might just change the way you look at money, literally. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the fascinating story of a particular coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm, the 2002 D 5-cent Jefferson nickel. This isn't just any old nickel that you toss into a vending machine or use to buy a pack of gum. This is a coin that has gone down in history as one of the most valuable and rarest U.S. nickels in existence, and its worth today could make even the most seasoned collectors sit up and take notice. So, grab a seat, and let's get started on this incredible journey into the world of rare coins. To set the stage, let's talk about the Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel is a part of the long and storied history of U.S. coinage. It first made its debut in 1938, and since then, it has undergone various redesigns and changes. On the obverse, we have the face of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, who is perhaps best known for authoring the Declaration of Independence and for overseeing the Louisiana Purchase, which greatly expanded the territory of the United States. On the reverse of the coin, we see a depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello, a beautiful and historic mansion in Virginia. The design has remained relatively unchanged for decades, making it one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. circulation. Now, let's talk about the year 2002, which is where our story takes a fascinating turn. While most of the coins that were minted in 2002 were just like the ones that had been produced for years, standard, everyday nickels with the usual design, there was something unusual happening at the U.S. Mint that year. There was an error. And it wasn't just any minor mistake. It was a mistake that would turn a seemingly ordinary coin into one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces of currency in modern numismatic history. You see, in the process of striking coins, sometimes errors occur. Coin production is a complex process, and even with the most sophisticated technology, things can go wrong. For the 2002 D Jefferson nickel, there was a particularly rare misstriking error that occurred. This error caused certain nickels to have a slight variation that made them unique from the rest of the batch. These nickels, which were supposed to be identical to others in the 2002D series, had a subtle but significant design flaw, something that made them not just rare, but extraordinarily valuable. When it comes to coin collecting, rarity is one of the most important factors in determining a coin's value. A coin that is widely circulated and abundant is not going to be worth much, because there are so many of them available. But a coin that is rare, that has something unique about it, whether it's an error in the minting process, a misaligned die, or an unexpected variation, those are the coins that collectors go crazy for. And this is where the 2002D 5-cent Jefferson nickel really starts to shine. What makes this coin so extraordinary is the mistake that occurred during its production. The US Mint was striking a large number of nickels that year, but a very small percentage of them ended up with a design error. The error was subtle enough that many people didn't notice it at first, but for those with a keen eye for detail, it was enough to make the coin stand out as something unique. The 2002D 5-cent Jefferson nickel that was misstruck featured a design flaw that made it appear slightly different from the other coins. Some of these nickels had a misalignment in the die, causing the image of Jefferson or Monticello to be off-center or distorted in some way. Other coins may have had a doubling effect, where the design appeared to be duplicated or had a blurry effect, creating an almost ghostly image on the coin. These errors, though small, were highly significant, and they made the coins much rarer and more desirable than any standard 2002D nickel, but the real magic of these coins doesn't end with the error itself. Once collectors and numismatists began to notice the uniqueness of these misstruck 2002D nickels, the prices for these coins began to skyrocket. People who were fortunate enough to have one of these rare nickels started to realize they were sitting on a small fortune. The demand for these coins began to rise as collectors sought to obtain what was quickly becoming known as one of the most valuable US nickels ever minted. Now, let's dive into the numbers. At the heart of this remarkable story is the fact that the 2002D 5-cent Jefferson nickel could potentially be worth millions of dollars. This is not an exaggeration. There have been reports of individual 2002D nickels, those with the misstruck design, selling for amounts upwards of $133 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $133 million for a single nickel. This makes it one of the most expensive coins in US history. Imagine walking into a coin shop or going through your change jar and stumbling upon one of these incredibly rare coins. That nickel, which was originally worth just 5 cents, could be worth enough to change your life forever. So, how did this $133 million price tag come to be? It's not just the rarity of the coin that makes it valuable, it's also the historical significance, the unique error, and the undeniable demand from collectors and investors alike. The value of rare coins, especially those with notable design flaws or historical importance, is determined not only by how few of them exist but also by how much people are willing to pay for them. In the case of the 2002D Jefferson nickel, collectors from around the world have been willing to pay astronomical prices to own one of these rare specimens. That if you're wondering why the value of these coins has reached such extraordinary heights, it's because the error was so rare. The process of coin minting is highly regulated, and most coins produced by the US Mint are made with extreme precision. When an error occurs, it's not just an accident, it's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. The 2002D Jefferson nickel is, in essence, a perfect storm of rarity, design, and timing. It's a coin that nobody expected to be worth so much, and yet here we are, talking about nickels that could potentially fetch millions of dollars at auction. The story of the 2002D Jefferson nickel is also a fascinating example of how the world of coin collecting works. There are thousands of coins that are produced every year by the US Mint, and the vast majority of them are circulated without anyone ever noticing anything unusual. But every once in a while, a rare coin slips through the cracks, and when that happens, it can lead to a discovery that shakes the numismatic world to its core. For the 2002D nickel, this discovery has led to a surge in interest from collectors, investors, and enthusiasts who are all eager to get their hands on one of these rare and valuable coins. But what if you're out there wondering if you have one of these rare coins in your possession right now? How can you tell if you have one of these misstruck 2002D nickels? The truth is, it can be tricky to spot these rare errors, especially if you're not familiar with what you're looking for. The misalignment of the design or the doubling effect can be subtle, and it's easy to miss if you're not paying close attention. That's why it's so important to educate yourself and to keep an eye out for any coins that seem even slightly different from the norm. If you think you may have stumbled upon a 2002D nickel with a misstruck design, the best thing to do is to consult with a professional numismatist or a reputable coin dealer. These experts can examine your coin under magnification and help you determine whether it's a valuable error coin or just a regular nickel. In some cases, they may even recommend sending the coin off to be graded by a professional grading service, which can help establish its authenticity and value. Even if you don't have a rare 2002D nickel in your collection, the world of coin collecting is full of excitement and possibility. Coins are fascinating little pieces of history that can tell us so much about the past. Every coin has a story to tell, whether it's a design choice, a minting error, or a historical event that shaped the coin's creation. The world of numismatics is one that's constantly evolving, with new discoveries being made all the time. And who knows? You might just find yourself holding the next big discovery, the next coin worth millions, as you embark on your own coin collecting adventure. As we wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 2002D 5-cent Jefferson nickel, I hope you've gained a newfound appreciation for the rare and valuable treasures that exist right under our noses. Coin collecting is a hobby that can be as rewarding as it is exciting, and with a little knowledge and a lot of patience, you just might find yourself in possession of a coin worth far more than its face value. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.